And welcome back to Simple Rockets 2. Continuing with the series now into Sandbox mode, seeing as we've completed all of the challenges. All 17 challenges have all been completed. So we're moving on to Sandbox mode with the first manned mission to the moon. Ultimately, we're going to be landing some people on the surface and returning them back safely to the surface of Jundroo. However, first of all, we have to test our command and service module. Okay, so this is the command and service module. It might be necessary to modify it a little bit when we actually do the manned landing itself later on in this series. So at the top we've got the launch escape system. That will go when the second stage detaches. Underneath this fairing we have a single docking port, which we'll be testing the next episode with the docking around Jundroo, between two of these around the planet Jundroo. We've got 4 parachutes as well. I think you can quite almost saw that just then. There we go. So we've got a parachute just there. We've got 4 of those miniature ones. Command module is, well, it's Apollo style, as you can see. It's got 3 astronauts in there already. We've got the service module itself with 4 5-way RCS thruster packs. We've only got monoprop. We've got the Pixie engine as the SPS, service propulsion system, running on Methalox. Second stage, and also makes up the TLI for this particular mission, runs on Hydrolox. First stage is a Saturn 1 or Saturn 2B variant, running on Kerolox with just 4 engines rather than just a 5. It's got plenty of TLI though. And we've got a launch tower. Just there with some nice bright lights. You can see this in the flight scene, but unfortunately it doesn't seem to want to work when you're in the design window. Okay, so we're going to head into orbit of Jundroo, as I said. That's phase 1. Once we've established orbit, we're going to establish an orbit around the moon by performing a TLI with the second stage. Then we're going to try and establish an orbit as low as possible so we can theoretically begin a manned landing once you have the lander stage attached. Phase 3 is returning from the moon back to Jundroo nice and safely, whether we splash down or land on the planet's surface itself. Okay, let's head out to the launch pad and begin today's test flight. Okay, so here we go. We need to establish an orbit around Jundroo, just over 100 kilometers as best we can, and then we'll see exactly where we are when it comes to Delta V. Okay, so here we go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, that's the first stage burned out. Okay, let's decouple. Second stage is live. 120.9 kilometers. We don't want to lose too much delta V, so we'll start a little bit. We're not quite outside the planet's atmosphere just yet. 25%, is that enough? 1935 meters per second. Yeah, it's just enough. It's already established. Sometimes you can click the wrong circle when you do it down here. You can click the heading by mistake and knock yourself completely off. Okay, so above the atmosphere. Try and bring that apparatus down a little bit. In time as well as altitude. Don't need to use anything more than 25% just yet. Got a decent, a full throttle. It's about just over 3 minutes, so we're not in a rush. We got to about 30%. Okay, 40 seconds to apoapsis. Got to full throttle. Back up to 0 pitch. (2,300 meters per second) and 5 seconds to the apoapsis, so push up a little bit. Not too much. (2,650 meters per second). Put at 15 degrees. Okay, pushing it away now. Back to 5. (3,000 meters per second). Go to 0 pitch. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh no. Never mind. Not quite fast enough to kill the throttle on that. Okay, let's head to the map view. Zoom all the way out. Orbit details. We'll unlock map. Yeah, that's fine. Move that down to there. So we can see exactly what we're doing. Okay, let's target the moon. Back to the ship. Okay, so where do we do it? I'd say about there. So a quick look. Delta V remaining 1761 over 88 seconds. 1761. Well inside 1328. So 1761. Okay. Map options. Let's bring it down. A bit too sensitive. If you get a little bit too close, what can happen? You can overburn pretty easy. We've already found that out during the challenges. So keep it nice and high. You can always do a second burn. 830.4 kilometers. That should be okay theoretically anyway. So lock that. The autopilot do the burn as it comes round. So we've got 23.5 minutes, 20 minutes and 30 seconds or so. Okay, so burn successfully completed. This time it seems to be nice and accurate. Okay, so that's the initial approach to the moon established. Just about spot on as well. At 803, if that's correct. Kilometers above the moon's surface. Okay. So that's the TLI stage done with, so we'll get rid of that. We'll continue on to the moon and perform the braking manoeuvre once we get into proximity of the lunar surface. Okay, so we're coming up to halfway through the, at least through the trajectory anyway. 623.8 kilometers, 3.63 hours. That's from the intercept point, which is 8.68 hours. 623.8. Okay, we're at the point where we could do a correction burn, but I don't think we need to bother. We can do a retro burn there. Brings us into a nice low orbit, and it also allows us to choose what altitude we want to actually be at when it comes to the apoapsis, the highest point of the orbit around Luna. So I think we'll let it carry on. So we've got 8.67 hours, and then we'll plot the course to bring ourselves down into a nice low orbit around Luna. Okay, a few seconds left. So 200 kilometers at the periapsis. 199.8. Okay, of course we need to go a bit lower than that. So go on to the periapsis and bring the apoapsis down. So it comes down to about, I would say about 100 kilometers or so. And that should be low enough for a lander to begin its braking phase of the landing. So it should be okay about 100 kilometers at the periapsis for detaching the lander from this section, from the docking port at the front there. It's a bit bright. Just there. You can see the docking port there and the 4 parachutes alongside it. Of course, we'll be testing those later on this episode in phase 3 when we head back to Jundroo. Okay, let's see if we can... Let's plot this. So we shall bring... So we want to be ideally at the lowest point of our orbit around the moon, on the light side. Let's bring that down a little bit. Okay, so circularize. So the apoapsis is over the light side. So when we get round to the periapsis again, 198 points after this burn, we'll then bring the apoapsis down and flip it around, and it's over the light side. So the lowest part of our orbit will be on the nice brightly lit side of the moon. Okay, let's lock that in. Let's walk forward. Milliscale, 79 meters per second. Tiny short little burn. Just a few seconds. Okay, not too bad. Okay, let's bring... No, I didn't want to do that. Let's be dangerous, shall we? Let's bring it down to... Been a little bit faster. About 10%. There we go, that's better. Now 100 kilometers there. That's as low as you want to be because you got to break your lateral velocity. That's the speed across the surface of the moon before you hit the surface vertically. You've got to have enough altitude. So you don't want to come too low, but we want to take some pictures. This is obviously a research mission. 50 kilometers. And of course, on one of my unmanned missions in this, I actually went to about 10 kilometers and I still hit the surface somehow. No idea how that managed to... there's nothing above 10 kilometers as far as I can see on the lunar surface, but we'll play it safe, we'll hold there. About 30 kilometers, that should be easy enough. So I'll lock that in. We shall perform the burn. So we've got 58 meters per second. Burn time is NA. Okay, I don't know what that means. Let's move around. About 11 seconds. Okay. So that's that. So let's hit the crew. Take some pictures. We shall unlock that and save some electricity for the driver. Yeah, there's no fuel cells. So obviously Apollo style mission spacecraft can't use solar panels. So I have to pack some more batteries in there. It's not too bad though. Let's take a look at it. It's still 91%. We're not using a gyro, we're using RCS because that's active. So it's not too bad. Okay, let's go to the light side and take some pictures, shall we? Okay, so we're moving out to the lowest part of the orbit. Approaching 30 kilometers. Again, just like our own moon. It's rather pock-marked with craters. There's a few flat areas that we could probably attempt to land on. Okay. Nice. Not very friendly to manned missions though. Got a large crater just there. It's a medium-sized one with some other crater inside it, and this one has as well. Interesting terrain to say the least. Okay, let's let them take some pictures and then we shall prepare to head back to Jundroo. Okay, so just finishing up the plot to return to Jundroo. So we need to go slower than the moon. So we need to thrust in that direction. So we'll need at least one correction burn, probably 431.2 kilometers. It will take us longer to get back, 1.2 days. 255.3 kilometers will do that. Okay, so we have 412 meters per second. Our time is 31.7. It never seems to tell me how long the burn is going to take though. But we've easily got enough. 412 meters per second. We have 2,567 meters per second remaining and a almost 5 minute burn time. So I don't think we're going to have a problem with 412 meters per second. Okay, so we'll let them perform the burn as we get around there. And then we can head back to Jundroo and hopefully make a nice safe re-entry into Jundroo's atmosphere. And a nice splash down. Okay, so we've left the influence of the moon. It's actually an ideal place to perform our correction burn, about 5%. So right now we're 247 kilometers and 15.68 hours. So I'll try and bring that down. So it's inside Jundroo's atmosphere, but not too far. Obviously the danger is if you go too far you burn upon re-entry, because obviously your heat shield can only stand so much. Or you don't slow down enough for your parachutes to get ripped off. The other danger is you don't go deep enough and you bounce off the atmosphere and then it takes you hours and days, possibly weeks, to come back round. So Jundroo's atmosphere is 100 kilometers. So I'll take it down to about 14 point, whatever that was said. 14.2 kilometers. That should be deep enough, but not too far. We don't want to hit the surface itself with the periaxis plot. We want it to be well above, good few kilometers. Okay, I think that's it. So I'll lock that. So we have 22 meters per second. We'll be there in 4.39 hours. Exactly as I said, it takes you longer to fall back than to actually get to the moon. So obviously we're slowing down. We went right high above where the moon's orbit is. And then back down. Maybe could have done that a little bit better. But I don't think it's too important. That's fine. Okay. Let's let this burn complete. Okay, so first correction burn, that's about the only one we need to do. So it's 13.1 kilometers, a little bit too far into the atmosphere, maybe. We'll see how it goes. It shouldn't be too bad though. Okay, so just about through Jundroo's atmosphere. You have lost 2 parachutes due to excessive heating, so obviously a little bit too sharp into the atmosphere. So you got 2 parachutes, should be enough, hopefully. So at 27.5 kilometers and falling. Okay, so that's a nice safe splashdown. So that's even with 2 parachutes filled. So that's half our parachutes filled due to overheating, and yet we still managed to make a nice safe touchdown. So that's quite good. Okay, so next episode we're going to move on to phase 2, which is the ATG, or the target vehicle. We're going to try to dock this command module, or one very similar to it, with a target vehicle in orbit of Jundroo. Try and get that sort of rendezvous and docking procedure down. Make sure this docking mode actually works properly and it's actually in the position. It might need to be raised up a little bit. It might be a little bit too recessed in. But we'll find that out and we'll modify it until we actually get it done. And then we can move on to the landing phase itself with the lander and those orbital test flights. Okay, let's carry on to the next episode then. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to click like, it is appreciated. Also, if you do enjoy the content on the channel, this series or any of the series on the channel, clicking subscribe is very much appreciated. Of course, if you want to ask a question or leave a comment, you're more welcome to do so. Alright, so once again, thank you for watching. Hope to see you next episode. In the meantime, as always, take care. Bye bye.